Welcome back to another episode of the Hardcore Casual with your boy Bass the Kid. Now initially there wasn't supposed to be any episodes over the weekend, but I mean there was a lot of stuff that happened yesterday. I didn't do the play-by-play because I was busy, as you guys know, plus I had to get those basis picks out, so that took precedent. However, since I got a little time before I go to the gym, we're going to talk about everything that took place yesterday. But before then, there's a few bits and pieces that I saw over the last day or so, which I cut out of a previous video. So I figured let me address those, in a little summary type way. As always, please like and subscribe, share with a friend, a colleague, an associate, a family member, an enemy, and anyone in between. I appreciate it. For now, let's get into it. So first things first, as I didn't necessarily get to mention earlier on in the week, but with Katie Taylor calling out Chantel Cameron in the most respectful way possible, by the way, but that is just Katie Taylor to a T. Chantel obviously came back, said let's do it. I mean, we're both on the same platform, we're both with the same promoter, so realistically there is absolutely no reason why this fight can't take place. I saw a interview from Eddie Hearn. I think it was one of the previous ones I had touched on for separate subjects, but he pretty much said yep, they're looking at getting that deal sort of finalized for the 20th of May in Ireland, and I definitely am looking forward to that one. That's going to be a very interesting match because stylistically Katie Taylor's got the advantage. However, all the other advantages outside of, I guess, boxing IQ and experience, I think it's fair to say, like Chantel Cameron has the size advantage, even though she's not actually that much bigger than Katie. Like, she could still compete at 135 if she really wanted to, but she's got the size and she's definitely got the power advantage. So and I would actually say not necessarily speed, but she's got the athleticism, and that may also tell and be a factor as to sort of how that fight particularly plays out. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that one if it does take place. So yeah, I just wanted to sort of touch on that one. Also, another fight which looks like it's been finalized or has pretty much like been put over the line is Devin Haney versus Vasily Lomachenko, which again is supposed to take place on the 20th of May in Las Vegas. Now I know Devin wanted to look to take that towards the Middle East, but I guess either Bob said no or that was just a deal that wasn't really able to be done for that one, but maybe he might be looking at that as his next stop after this fight, which I do believe is the last on the Top Rank contract he had to sign in order to get the shot at Undisputed. That again, another great fight, and on the exact same day. So think about just the level that you get on that particular day. You get Katie Taylor and Chantel Cameron if it happens, and then you get Devin Haney versus Vasily Lomachenko later on that evening. Like, that's a great that's two undisputed fights on the same night, and one of them is undisputed versus undisputed. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to both of those if they do take place. And as soon as they are signed, sealed, and put out there with the posters, that's when I'll start to give my takes and see where we go from there. But yeah, I wanted to highlight those two things. Is there anything else? You might see in a sec before we get to the main stuff. Oh, actually, yeah, there was another bit of news. So Gennady Golovkin vacated his WBA super middleweight title. This comes off the back of him vacating his IBF belt, which was held by Esquiva Falcao. No, which he was due to fight Esquiva Falcao for Apologies. So he's now going to be obviously fighting for that vacant title. But now, as he was meant to fight Erislandy Lara for a consolidation fight, because Lara was the regular champ, the secondary within the division, that now basically means that Lara has been recognized and he will be upgraded to the full WBA champ at middleweight. Yet it's very weird, because even though Golovkin has vacated the 2 belts, he's not retiring. He still said that he wants to fight on. He still wants to carry on fighting. So I don't see where that comes into play. I mean, I guess maybe you could say, oh, well, he can find that he can get another fight which will pay him more than, you know, I guess what it would have been to fight Lara or Esquivel. But that being said, it's like, if you don't have belts, a lot of the time that adds a little bit of you know, money to your purse when you are a recognized champion. I guess the biggest fight he might be able to get in the division right now is Jaime Munguia, maybe. But it's like that fight, almost now it really does nothing for Munguia, because even if you take Golovkin's scalp, you don't really gain anything from it, because now all you're going to hear is, well, he was 41 years old, like he's well past it, he hasn't looked good in the last couple of years, blah blah blah, and now you can't even get a belt from it. So what is the, you know, and that's still not going to be an easy fight for you, because that guy's hands are just like devastating. So what real benefit do you get from it, unless it's like the step before the step? But to be honest, there's easier contenders fighting for the belts now, which you could have really gone for if that was the case. So I really don't know what the scenario is, who he's looking to fight next, or if he's looking to move up permanently to 168 or start doing catch weights up there. I don't know. But yeah, Erislandy Lara, I think there is now a possibility he might fight Danny Garcia at a catch weight, funnily enough, for the middleweight title. I think at a catch weight of like 155 or something like that. I definitely don't want to see that. And even though, look, Lara is not a draw or a big name, realistically neither is Danny Garcia, so you can't let yourself get A-sided by a guy like that who's got no real marquee value like for you in it. Like, so yeah, if that's the case, if you're now the champ, you ride that for what it's worth. You call your shots. Like, anyone who needs to see you at your correct weight, and if they're at the weight below, so be it, they need to move up. But I'm sure the WBA will find a way to put someone in place to you know, for the next defense, which will have to be now, it will have to be a mandatory defense, because the voluntary was the consolidation, I suppose. Actually no, technically that counts as a mandatory, so you might get a voluntary defense, and then yeah, a mandatory will be called after that. So we'll see how things play out. But yeah, wonder what Golovkin does next. It's I mean, it's a bit of a weird move, but I'm all eyes and ears. Now we get to the good stuff. So Friday was an event, let's put it that way. So look, we all heard previously during the week that Alex Krasiuk told us, from what he had been told by, you know, his negotiation partners, that's what he called them, Frank and George Warren, Tyson Fury wanted too much money, more money than was available to do the fight with Alexander Usyk. And he told Rob Tebbett that even if Usyk had a zero and didn't get paid at all, there would still be not enough money in the pot for Tyson, according to the rumors or what he had heard, right? So previously he said, well, look, we want a split, you want a sum. We don't care about the sum, we just want a split. We wanted a fair split, we wanted a 50-50 split, we wanted a but then, okay, you didn't want to do that, we do 60-40 and the winner gets 60, the loser gets 40. You didn't want to do that, so you wanted guaranteed money. Well, Tyson Fury came out yesterday, as I'm sure almost all of you have seen now, and basically said, look, the way he sees it, Usyk, you are no more worthy than 30%. And if you want the fight, you will take the 30%. But for every day you don't agree to taking the 30%, you will have 1% deducted from that 30. And after 30 days, okay, well, if that's the case, see you later. You can go and fight Daniel Dubois at the Copper Box for £2 million. Well, that's bluster anyway, because number one, I guarantee you Alexander Usyk will sell out bigger arenas than the Copper Box in the UK. Fact. The OVO is the minimum that you could get for an Usyk fight. He could easily do 13,000 over here, like, because 13,000 is boxing fans. That doesn't even skip over to the casuals. That's just straight boxing fans, and he'll sell that quite comfortably. I'd put good money on him selling out or coming very close to selling out the O2 with, you know, a Daniel Dubois who boxing public knows. Joe Joyce, boxing public, etc. But either way, he goes 2 million. I mean, he definitely get paid a lot more than that, but regardless. So you say, okay, raw. At this point, everyone, Fury, like straight ducking, like you're pricing yourself out of this. You're being totally unreasonable. There's no way you can justify to say that you bring 70% of the revenue for this fight, because again, you can't, in a boxing terms, outside of Anthony Joshua, make more money than you can facing Usyk. Andy Ruiz, you couldn't make more money with Andy Ruiz. You can't make more money with a Deontay Wilder 4 fight. You can't make more money with Joe Joyce. You just can't. You can't make more money with Daniel Dubois. Like, the biggest money you can make in a boxing sense is Alexander Usyk. The only caveat to that could potentially be a Francis Ngannou fight, but that wouldn't even be over here. That would be based in the US, which you can't travel to, because Ngannou is not as big a name over here, because UFC, while we still watch it, is not as big as it is in America. So that's where that crossover fight has to happen. Or potentially, I guess, the Middle East, you might get a big site fee there. But again, it is what it is, right? So you say straight ducking, like anyone who was trying to put, you know, anyone who was trying to, you know, put arguments forward and create some kind of, you know, protection racket for why Fury is entitled to this. Like, at this point, they've got no leg to stand on. Twitter was in an uproar. So then I think he put out another video on his Instagram, but it seems like they got conflated in the timeline, because Alexander Usyk then comes back with a video basically saying he called Tyson Fury greedy belly, and he said, I accept your offer of 70-30 for Wembley, 29th of April, Undisputed, but you must donate £1 million to the people of Ukraine or Ukrainian charity. And for every day that you don't sign, we add 1% onto what you need to, 1% from your purse to the Ukrainian people. So I guess that essentially would mean that if after 30 days he didn't sign that, then you would have, what would he get, 40%, and Usyk would get 30, and then the other 30% goes to the people of Ukraine, plus the £1 million that he's supposed to donate. Which at this particular time was a masterstroke, because Usyk said he said in a tweet before that I would fight you even for no prize money, because the prize for me is the legacy. I want Undisputed. That's what I've campaigned for. Now clearly he may feel like that. His management are not going to allow him to fight Fury for no money whatsoever. At the end of the day, this will probably be his second, maybe third biggest payday at this point. So, you know, Alex Krassyuk, Igor Klimas, like, you know, these guys, obviously they want to get paid. It's not just about Usyk's money. Their money is obviously tied into this as well. So at this point, you say to yourself, wow, that's a checkmate, because right now he's stopped Fury from having any way to get out of this fight. You said 70-30. You know what? I want 50-50. I think I've deserved at least 60-40. But you know what? Just for the chance for legacy, just so that you've got nowhere else to go, I accept 70-30. All you have to do is give a £1 million donation to the people of Ukraine for like the relief fund or whatever. If Fury is making what, 30-40 million, that 1 million, that's a tax deductible. It makes perfect sense to do so. So yeah, like, checkmated. But then there was another video that we saw from Tyson Fury saying sign the contract, blah blah blah, but apparently that video came out before Usyk sent his, so we may be a bit conflated in the timeline. Either way, what we've now seen is that the WBA have confirmed that they got notification from both Fury's team and Usyk's team that they've agreed a deal, and to basically call off the mandatory announcement between Usyk and Daniel Dubois. Quite frankly, I think Daniel Dubois should be praising God at this particular point, especially if he had this quote unquote knee injury that occurred in December from the Kevin Lerena fight. He definitely wouldn't have been ready for that, and he's not ready for that kind of smoke with Usyk now anyway. Like, I definitely think Usyk stops Daniel Dubois at this stage in his career. But that being said, it seems as if Fury's got his way to a degree, like he gets the lion's share that he wanted, but Usyk has also got his way because what he wants is legacy. And it also seems like Usyk has now put this in a position where there is no way Fury can not take this fight. Now, I have seen a few people say that I wouldn't be surprised if Fury signs for the fight. He said he's in training camp now. What, we got 6 weeks, so apparently he's only really been training for like 6 weeks, or he's going to be training for 6 weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if an injury occurs or something of those natures. Now, quite frankly, I don't put anything past him, but at least for right now, for this moment in time, there is no feasible way for you to get out of this without looking bad, even if you cite an injury at this point, because it's dragged on for so long. You can't say, oh well, look, I got injured in camp, because everyone knows that you delayed and you longed it out, and this thing was supposed to happen in February. Let's not forget, that's why Anthony Joshua couldn't get the fight on December 17th, because you were scheduled to fight on, what was it, February the 24th, was it? Or the 25th, so, or by the very latest, the 3rd of March, you had to have your fight on the 3rd of December. That was the date. There was no other dates moving forward, because this was the next fight. So we've missed all of those dates. Now we've got this one. 6 weeks to go before the fight, supposedly, and ultimately, long it out. Okay, no, I want 70%. I'm thinking, oh yeah, he's not gonna take that. I accept. Oh, I'm injured. Yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna buy that. So unless you turn up into the ring on the night of April the 29th, there's no way that you look good after this. So to me, I think it was a brilliant move by Usyk, but I guess he also had to concede to be in the B side in this scenario. I mean, technically, I feel, everyone knows my position on that, but he was willing to budge, whereas Fury wasn't. So therefore, you can clearly tell who wanted the legacy more, or who needed this for their legacy more, because Fury has got a lot of people, a lot of casual boxing fans, a lot of even hardcore boxing fans to a degree, bamboozled as to, oh yeah, like he's great, like he's done it. I swear, Alan Brazil even said on Talksport, oh well, he's beat them all, like he doesn't need to fight anyone. And I was like, he's beat two people, two legit people, and even of those legit ones, everyone knows that I only really think it was one, because the other person also wasn't proven. And the biggest step up fight they had, they lost 2 of them and got a gift draw in the first. But yeah, that notwithstanding, there was good wins there. Wilder was a good win. Klitschko was a fantastic win. The first Chisora fight and the second one were probably, you could say, they were good wins. Dillian White was a good win. So yeah, he's got the good names on there, but there's just none of those upper echelon guys in this the new era. But now he's got that chance to solidify his legacy. But I've always said, a lot of the time when people say, "Oh, fighters aren't scared to fight each other and whatever," like, people have to remember there's different levels of fear. There's different levels of being afraid of somebody. Like, you can be afraid of someone from almost like a mental point. Like, if this person releases this information on me, or if this person, beats me in an argument or a race or a contest, there's a perception I have. That person has now destroyed my perception. And some people are afraid of having a perception of themselves destroyed, or they're scared of the backlash that will occur if they don't come out on top against an opponent. So it's not that you're scared of the physical man, like you're scared to fight him, you're scared to have a dust up. Because I believe most people, if you put them in a room with no cameras, no one around, no one knows about it, they'll fight, no one's conceding, and you just scrap it out, and whatever happens and done. But when it's in front of people and you've got reputations on the line, there is an element of fear. Especially in big scenarios. I can say that as a guy, I've never been scared to see another guy, but there's definitely been situations I've been in where I'm like, I don't want this to go left because of where I am. And I definitely think that is a situation with a lot of boxers as well. Yeah, they may not be scared physically to fight somebody, or scared for their life or their safety, but they are scared of losing their rep, or losing their perception, their presentation, or losing something, or something happening which then loses them something else down the line. So that's my opinion on it. So do I think he's scared of Usyk the man? No. Do I think he's scared of what Usyk can do to his legacy and perception? Yes. Which is why he wants A-side booking. He wants the lion's share of the money. He wants all the advantages he can get to try and eke out this victory. I don't really see why that is so hard for other people to understand. But that being said, look, it looks like we got it over the line at the minute. We will see what happens moving forward, and I just hope that it does take place. And I've already got a few boxing events that I'm scheduled to be at in April. I'm going away on a very expensive holiday in May, but if it does happen, I may have to find some money from somewhere to be in attendance. Not necessarily, I can't be I've got to be on the floor somewhere. So depending on how expensive those tickets are, maybe I might have to. Anyway, we'll get into that at a later date. We'll see what happens. Maybe I can finally get some decent press accreditations for those events. But yeah, look, that's my thoughts on it. I'm glad that they've come to some kind of agreement. While I'm not happy that Usyk has necessarily had to curtail so much, I didn't have any reservations that my fellow Capricorn compatriot would do what was needed to be done to get this over the line. So when it comes to April 29th, you know where my allegiance will be and who I will be supporting. But when it comes to basis picks and the breakdown, I will be as impartial and fair as I can be. And ultimately, if it comes to it, may the best man win. But for right now, I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. That is the Hardcore Casual out.